friends, how are you today? My name is Lizbeth and I am not a makeup artist, but I do enjoy doing my makeup and telling stories. And so that's what I do. I do my makeup while I tell a story. And today I do have a bit of a story, but I also thought I'd chat and a little bit because I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks. Actually, I've had some other stuff going on, so I didn't really do my makeup a whole lot in the past couple of weeks, and I definitely didn't do any videos, but I'm back now, so yay! And what is on my face? Anyway, so I thought I would tell you a little bit about what I've been up to. And first thing that I'm very excited about is I have decided to get my makeup artist certification. So I'm super excited about that because makeup is something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy playing around with it and doing new looks, and it makes me happy. My philosophy towards makeup is, it's just makeup. It's fun to play around with, but it washes off. So if you mess up, it's no big deal. It washes off. And I feel like makeup should be used to enhance, not necessarily hide. Like, I mean, we all have things that we wish we didn't have. Like, I've got adult acne and I've got eczema, and admittedly my eczema usually isn't on my face. I'll get it under my eyes sometimes, but it's my hands that take the brunt of it. But still, I have those things, and I wish I didn't have those things, but I do. And yeah, I do try to cover them up a little bit, but also if it shows a little, it's no big deal. It is what it is. But yeah, anyway, so I'm excited to get my makeup artist certification and be able to learn more about makeup and all that good stuff. And I'm really excited because I'm also a little nervous because I was thinking about this. I'm like, what if when I become a makeup artist, it doesn't work out, or nobody comes to me, or I don't make any money doing it? I'm like, it's okay. And then a couple nights ago I was thinking about it. I was like, why am I even doing this? And then I'm like, okay, no, you're fine. Just breathe. Don't let the cart go before the horse here. This is something that you've wanted to do for a while. And, so just get it done and see how it works out. Hopefully it works out great. If it doesn't, well, I've learned a new skill, right? So that's how I'm choosing to look at it. So I can put it on. This foundation I'm using, I like it. I feel like it's really thin. It's the Covergirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. Which, sorry, I do really enjoy it. I do like it. I feel like it's a little thin, but it's also supposed to be a little thin, so anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. So sorry. All right. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and yeah, we had people over for a couple weeks ago and getting ready to get an inspection done and all that good stuff. And Halloween was super fun. I actually went top golfing for the first time. I've never been before. The most golf I've ever done is miniature golf, which is super fun. Not knocking the miniature golf at all, because gotta love me some miniature golf. But I'd never been golfing before. But that's the most golfing I've ever done in my life. So we went top golfing, and it was super fun. Like, I don't know if you guys have done it, but it's I recommend it if you haven't. It's super fun, and I've said that like 5 times now, but it is. It's basically you go into this building that's a few stories high, and then you put golf balls out onto a green, and they have a few different holes. I think they have like 5 or 6 different holes, but the holes are big, like, and there's netting all around the holes, so you don't have to get right at the center. I'm pretty sure you get more points if you get right at the center, but you get, as long as you hit into like the netting area, you'll get points. Usually, because the balls have little sensors. Sometimes the sensors don't work though. They didn't work on one of mine, and they didn't work on a lot of my dad's, unfortunately, because my dad was good. My husband was really good too. But, and I wasn't good, I'm not gonna lie. I was not good, but I had fun. And that's what we were there for, to have fun. So that counted. But yeah, I was not great at golf. My husband was trying to give me some pointers. I'm like, just let me do it. Just let me swing. Because I don't know. It was just fun the way I was doing it. And I mean, aren't golf rules like the lowest amount of stroke, or the lowest score usually wins? So I felt like I won. Yeah. Oh, and then we went to this outdoor museum, and I love this place. It's one of my favorite places. It's just got a lot of plants and animals, and they have stingrays at this place. And normally, when it's not COVID, you can pet the stingrays and feed them. And I don't know if you guys have never, I know people who don't like this sensation because it is a little weird, but I love it. Ooh. I'm loving this palette too. But I know people, anyway, so I know people who don't love feeding stingrays because it's a weird sensation. It is. I mean, you stick a piece of fish in between your fingers, and they come and glide over your hand and up the fish. So yes, it is a weird sensation, but I think it's so fun. And they're also usually really friendly, so you can pet them, and they'll just, because they just swim in circles all day, which makes me a little sad, because I'm like, would they be doing this if they were in the wild? Oh, I mean, they know they wouldn't be doing this in the wild. And like, what if they missed the wild? But I guess if they were bred in captivity, they don't know the difference. But like, they're super friendly, and so they'll come swim by even if you don't have fish, and you can pet them. And yes, they feel weird because they're an aquatic creature. They're slimy, and they're firm but slimy. And so it is a weird sensation, but I think it's fun. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that this time, which I wish we could have, but they gotta protect their creatures too. So yeah. But yeah, that's what we did on Halloween. Super fun time. We didn't get any trick-or-treaters this year, which and honestly, we haven't had a whole lot of trick-or-treaters where we live for the past few years, if any. And so I wasn't really expecting any, and we were gone for part of the night anyway, though, so who knows, maybe some came on earlier that we didn't see, but yeah. So, okay, so I've got to show you this palette. I think it's so pretty. There we go, kind of. Sorry, I'm trying to, and it's really pigmented. I like it. But yeah, that's what we did on Halloween, and then we had a birthday dinner this weekend with the in-laws, and that was super fun. Ooh. Do you ever like look at different family members or your spouse's family and look at yours? You're like, wow, you guys are so different. Because my family and my husband's family are so different from each other. They really are. And I'm literally not saying, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. They're just different. I love them all dearly. But we come from quite different familial backgrounds. And that's totally fine. It takes all kinds. And again, I love them both dearly. Sometimes it's just funny to me how differently we were raised. But yeah, so that was super fun. And let's see, has anything else really exciting been going on? No, not really. Other than that, it's basically been business as usual. My life is pretty quiet, which is good. It works for us. I mean, we like to do fun things, but for day-to-day is fairly quiet. And that's good. But, what was I gonna say? Anyway, so, what I was gonna talk, I forgot to, I should probably do that side too. I should probably do both of those sides. That would look really weird. But, so what I was gonna talk about today. So, I don't know if you guys have seen these, but have you ever heard of the movie Young Victoria or the BBC series Victoria? I watched them a while ago and probably put too much of this on. Oh well, we'll do what we can. I watched them a while ago and I've been watching them again recently because I like the series. I like the movie, I like the series. I think they're super good. And so I was going to talk about Queen Victoria for a minute, because if you couldn't tell, because just in case you're wondering, the movie and the series are about the young Queen Victoria. And honestly, what I want to focus on most is Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, because I don't know, I'm a sucker for romance. I love, I like romance. I like the stories. I like all that good stuff. And so sometimes when I watch a movie or a series or read a book, I find a character that I get really invested in their romance. And that's basically why I watch or I read the book. Like, the first time I read it or watch it, I'll read or watch the whole thing, because you gotta understand, you have to read or watch the whole thing to understand the characters and everything and the background and all that good stuff. But then sometimes if I watch it again or read it again, I'll focus mainly on the characters I like, on their part of the stories or movie, because I don't know, that's just how I do it. But anyway, so I don't know, I like Prince Albert, or I like Queen Victoria and Prince Albert's story, their relationship, their love, because I feel like they really loved each other. And yes, Prince Albert was her first cousin, which today is big no. But back then it was different times. It didn't matter so much. But anyway, so a little bit of background about Queen Victoria. She was born in, hold on. She was born the 24th of May, 1864. No? Wow, I was way off there. 1819, just kidding. And she was born daughter of Prince Edward, Duke of Kent and Strathern, and Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg, Suffield. I might need to go stop a cat fight in a second. My cats don't really fight, they just get on each other's nerves sometimes. But, hold on, excuse me for a second. Sometimes my girl just needs a little space and the boys don't quite get that, or they think she's playing or something, or maybe they're just being cats. I don't even know. But sometimes you just need your space, man. I get it. Anyway, so Queen Victoria, I said where she was, and her parents, and her father and her grandfather both passed away in 1820. And she was raised under the close supervision of her mother and her mother's controller, Sir John Conroy. And she inherited the throne at the young age of 18 after her uncle, King William IV, passed away. And her uncle did not like her mother. And he knew that if he passed away before she turned 18, then a regency would, or no, that her mother and her mother's controller, John Conroy, would be in charge. And he did not want this to happen because he did not like her mother and he did not like John Conroy. And so he actually the princess's birthday was in May, and he was just hoping that he would get through May of her 18th year so that her mother would not be in charge. And he passed away on the 20th of June of that year, I believe. So her mother was never in charge, and John Conroy and her mother both wanted her to be in charge. Or at least John Conroy really wanted the mother to be in charge. And I think the Duchess kind of went along with a lot of what John Conroy wanted. But anyway, and Princess Victoria was the last surviving child legitimate child of King William and his brothers, her father and the other uncles, and they had passed away earlier. So she was in line, third in line for the throne, and so when King William passed away, it was hers. And also John Conroy and her mother made up a set of rules called the Kensington system for Princess Victoria when she was young, which was basically a set of rules that made her very dependent on them and was designed to keep her weak and dependent. Like she had to, okay, some of mine / a lot of my information here is coming from the movie and TV shows. I did look up some stuff too. I should have done some more research, but I didn't. So there's that. But anyway, so I did do some research though, so don't worry. I don't feel like I'm totally off base here. But so her mother and Sir John Conroy made up this system called the Kensington system, which again was designed to keep her weak independent on them. Like, she had to share a room with her mother for all her life until she turned 18 and could do something about it. She couldn't walk down the stairs without somebody holding her hand. All her food had to be tested before she ate it. They were basically just trying to keep her under their thumbs. This, however, led to Victoria very much resenting her mother and her controller. And as she became queen, she made changes. Like, she moved out of her mother's room, and I believe she had, hold on just a sec, I believe that she may have banished her mother at some point, or at least banished her from the castle she was in. And, well, okay, I'm not positive on that, but I think she did. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm looking, I'm not seeing it right now, but I'll look some more later. Anyway, so when she became queen, Lord Melbourne, who was a politician, became her, he was the Whig prime minister, and he became a big, what is the word I'm looking for? She leaned on him a lot. And so he was often at the castle, and he influenced her quite a bit. And whether that was good or bad, I mean, I guess it depends on what political party you were part of. But I don't know, there were quite a few people who did not like Lord Melbourne or his influence over Queen Victoria. Oh, and she also got rid of John Conroy as soon as she could. And oh, and also, okay, so anyway, back to Prince Albert. Like I said, he was her first cousin, and when he came to visit her at first, I don't think that meeting was super smooth. I think they were both fairly stubborn people. Will your lips taste the kiss of... Sorry about that. Anyway, so so yeah, Victoria, even though she was queen now, because she was unmarried, she was basically required to still live with her mother, but as queen, Victoria consigned her mother into a small apartment in Buckingham Palace and often refused to see her. because she was just super resentful of the way her mother and John Conroy had tried to control her. And I mean, you can't really blame her for that. Okay, I can't really blame her for that. I think I'd probably feel similar. And so then enter Prince Albert. Again, he was her first cousin, and he came for a visit. But Victoria didn't want to be rushed into marriage, so she kind of she tried to avoid it for a while and resisted attempts to rush her into wedlock. But after his second visit in October of 1839, she continued to praise him. Because Victoria was queen, Albert could not propose. She had to be the one to propose. But anyway, so after his second visit in October, she continued to praise him, and then there's a baby cat. And then she proposed to him, and they both felt mutual affection. And on the 15th of October of 1839, just 5 days after he had arrived at Windsor, she proposed to him. And they married on the 10th of January, 1840. And Victoria was love-struck. Apparently, she spent the evening after the wedding laying down with a headache, but she wrote in her journal, and I've got to read this because I think it's really sweet. I never spent such an evening. My dearest Albert, dear Albert, his excessive love and affection gave me feelings of heavenly love and happiness I never could have hoped to have felt before. He clasped me in his arms, and we kissed each other again and again. His beauty, his sweetness and gentleness, really, how can I ever be thankful enough to have such a husband? He called me by names of tenderness I have never yet heard it used to me before. Was bliss beyond belief. Oh, this was the happiest day of my life. Isn't that sweet? I love that. So she was so happy to be married to Albert. And okay, again, this is going based on the shows, but I think Albert did have a little bit of trouble adjusting to being married to a queen, because yes, Albert was a prince, but he was married to a queen, and he didn't really have control of anything. Like, he had to look to her for an allowance, and he wasn't in charge of anything. She was in charge of everything, so I think he really struggled with that in the beginning, trying to find out where his role would be in this relationship, in the rule of the country, I guess. But it says he did become an important political advisor as well as the Queen's companion, and ended up replacing Melbourne as the dominant influential figure, because Lord Melbourne was the dominant influential figure during the first half of her reign. But after she and Prince Albert married, he became the dominant, influential character. Sorry. Hi, love. Anyway, so Victoria got pregnant fairly soon after they got married, and I believe she didn't want to get pregnant right away, but she did. And she didn't like being pregnant, and she didn't like babies. She thought they were ugly. But in spite of this, they had 9 children together, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, they had 9 children together. And they ranged together for hold on. Let me finish this up real quick. Alright. So she and Albert ranged together from 1840 until he died in 1861. And he died, unfortunately, of typhoid. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Hold on. And Victoria was just devastated when he died. And after he died, she wore black for the rest of her life because she really missed him. And she stopped going out in public so much, and she just kind of became a little more of a recluse. And again, and because Albert, he was her husband, he was her love, he was a huge help. And when her mother had died in 1861, her mother died in March of 1861, so they died the same year. And Victoria had been out at her side, and when she read her notes, she realized that her mother really did love her, and she blamed Conroy, and she had a helper for her early years named Letson, and she blamed them for their estrangement, and and during her grief, Prince Albert ended up taking a lot of her duties, and despite being ill with chronic stomach pains, and then in August, they visited their son, They visited their son, Edward, Prince of Wales. And in November, Prince Albert, father, was made aware of gossip that his son had been sleeping with an actress in Ireland, and he was appalled, and so he traveled to Cambridge, where his son had been studying. Don't trip up, please. And to confront him. And in the beginning of, but by the beginning of December, he was very unwell. And he was diagnosed with typhoid fever and died on the 14th of December. And Victoria was devastated. Again, she pretty much self-isolated for a while and wore black for the rest of her life. and I'm going to go finish my lips, and then I'll be back to finish it. So apparently a typical convention was for a spouse to mourn for 2 years after their spouse's death. But apparently Victoria never quite got over the shock of losing Prince Albert, and so again she wore black for the next 40 years until her death. And also I thought this was kind of sweet, but in the kind of to comfort herself, she continued to lay out his clothes every morning, just like she had done when he was alive, which I thought was really, I don't know, I think that's a sweet gesture. I like it. Anyway, so Queen Victoria, she reigned from June 20th, 1837 until her death, which was the 22nd of January 1901, and she was 81 years old when she died. And she reigned and her reign was 63 years and 7 months, which was longer than any of her predecessors. And her reign was a period of industrial, political, scientific, and military change. And it also had a great expansion of the British Empire. And I don't know, I really enjoy the movies, and I like her relationship, there we go, with Prince Albert as it's portrayed. And so I like to believe, and by all accounts, I believe she had a really happy relationship with him, and I think she was a great queen. And I mean, yeah, did she have rocky patches? Sure. All rulers do. All political figures do, really. But I think it's sweet. Anyways, so I'm all finished. That's me done for the day. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this look and chatting a little bit about Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. And please remember to like and subscribe, hit those buttons, and please always remember to treat people with kindness and respect. This world is hard enough. Everyone has a story, and we don't know what it is. So please remember to always treat people with kindness and respect. And a little love, happiness, friendship, kindness, respect, joy, all that stuff make the world a better place. So let's make the world a better place. And also, I got to show you this real quick. I stole this sweatshirt from my husband. I'm not going to lie. But it says, "Meddle not in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with ketchup." So always remember that too. Anyway, so I'm done, and thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!